Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, before we get into the show, first off, man, if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video will come out because I'm here each and every single week. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And then next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. You click on that bell. And when you click on that bell, you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded. And one last thing. Don't forget to be awesome. So yeah, don't forget to be awesome. And yeah, man, sit back, chillax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink because you're watching the Ryan Awesome Show. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about Impact Wrestling Against All Odds 2021, the pay per view. Now, overall, with this show, it was a good show. You know, the only match that I was interested in was the Kenny Omega versus Moose match. You know, we did have some great matches on the show, but the Moose versus Kenny Omega match was the match that I was looking forward to, the match that I was most intrigued by. But everything else on the show, it was good. But the Moose versus Omega match was the match that I was looking forward to, man. And so yeah, and in the main event, dude, it was just one of the best matches on the show. It was one of the best matches on the show, and you know that the action that went inside the ring with Moose and Omega, and you know them being in Daly's place and all that stuff, and then the end of the show is what everybody's gonna be talking about, man. But I'm gonna get into that. So yeah, so anyway, man, just like what I said in my intro, hit the thumbs up, man. If you haven't already, man, hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, man, hit the subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell to be the first ones to know when my next video will come out because I am here each and every single week. So yeah, so first off, we started off the show, and it was the tag team street fight. And it was the Good Brothers, that's Doc Gallows and Karl Anderson, versus Tommy Dreamer in a draw, Sami Callihan. So yeah, we had Dreamer. He had bit at Karl Anderson on his head, and then they had like chairs, steel chairs, and trash cans and all that stuff. So yeah, so Callahan he had hit Gallows with a broomstick, and then Dreamer he had hit Anderson with the bell, the ring bell, in the bells, and Karl Anderson's bells. And so yeah, so Gallows he had tripped up Callahan in a chair, face first. And so yeah, so Callahan and Gallows they were going back and forth with strikes, and then Dreamer and Callahan went to the back and they grabbed some, they grabbed the trash can, and so that's when the trash cans and the kendo sticks and the street signs came involved in the match. And so yeah, so they hit the Gut Brothers with the weapons that they used. And so yeah, so Callahan he had hogtied Gallows with a chain that he had. And so yeah, so Dreamer he had threw Gallows into a chair in the corner, and then Gallows he had bounced off of the chair and hit Dreamer with a clothesline. So I thought that was a nice spot. And so yeah, so Anderson he had threw Dreamer into the chair, face first, and then the Good Brothers they took control of the match at that point. And then Callahan he tried fighting back, but the numbers had caught up to him. And so Dreamer he had hit a cutter to Anderson, and so Dreamer he had followed it up with a DDT to Gallows, and we had a spine buster to Dreamer from Anderson, and then Callahan he had hit the referee to stop the pin. He didn't even stop, he didn't even hit Anderson to stop the pin. He hit the referee. So yeah, so he hit the referee to stop the pin, and so we had a magic killer to Dreamer through the table, and Callihan he had broke up the pin, so that was a close one. That would have been it right there. If Callihan was not there, that would have been it. And so yeah, so Callahan he had grabbed a baseball bat that he used, his signature baseball bat, and he had hit the Good Brothers with the baseball bat. And so he had hit Karl Anderson in the face with the baseball bat, and so he pinned Karl Anderson for the win. So Sami Callihan and Tommy Dreamer they win the match, and that was it. It was a must win. It was a must win for Dreamer and Callihan, man. There was no way. There was no way that the Good Brothers was winning. No way. But yeah, it was a decent street fight. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had a match, a one-on-one match, and it was Joe Doering representing the Violent by Design, who is one half of the Impact World Tag Team Title Champions, with Violent by Design in his corner. That's Eric Young, Rhino, and Diener versus Kojima with Eddie Edwards in his corner. And so yeah, so this match right here, it started off slow in the beginning, but everything started to pick back up in towards the end. So yeah, so Kojima he had caught Doring with a shoulder tackle, and then Doring had hit a shoulder tackle of his own on Kojima, and so Doring he had took control of the match at that point, and we had an elbow drop to Kojima, he kicked out, and we had Kojima he had his machine gun, his machine gun chops to Doring, and so Kojima he went for a diving elbow drop to Doring, and he kicked out. It looked like it was a wicked one too. It looked like he put all his weight on Doran's chest or his midsection with that elbow drop. It was really nasty, dude. And so we had Doran, he had a spine buster to Kojima. Nice, very nice. I love the spine buster, man. And so Rhino, he attacked Kojima outside the ring. It would have been a disqualification, but the referee didn't see it. And so Kojima, he ended up taking out Rhino outside the ring. And so we had a DDT to Doran, and he kicks out. And Kojima, he had a, no, not Kojima, he had Joe Doran, he had a crossbody to Kojima. Really nice, bro. Once again, man, I love it when I see these big guys hit the crossbody. It's really nice. And it's very effective, too. Very effective when a big guy hit a crossbody, man. And so, yeah, so we had a Koji cutter to Doring. And so right after that, we had a Death Valley driver, follow up by a short arm clothesline to Kojima, and Kojima kicked out. And so that was actually Joe Doran's finishing move, but Kojima kicked out of it. So yeah, we had to end the match. We had a spinning power bomb, a beautiful looking one too, a beautiful looking spinning power bomb to Kojima to win the match. So Joe Doring he wins the match, and this is really good. This is a good match. It did start off slow in the beginning, but towards the end everything picked back up. And the right person did win this match. Joe Doring he deserved to win that match. Joe Doring is a monster. He is built like a monster, so he should always win. And so yeah, man, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that, man, we had a vignette from Decay. That's Rosemary, Black Taurus, and Crazy Steve. And they said that they will bring all the gold. They'll say they bring all the gold to Decay. Rosemary, she said she's gonna win the Impact Knockouts Championship, and Black Taurus and Crazy Steve said they're gonna win the tag team titles. And so yeah, so right after this, we had a match. It was the Fatal Five Way. It was the Fatal Five Way X Division #1 Contenders match. So the winner of this match will be the #1 contender for the X Division Championship. So yeah, it was Ace Austin versus Chris Bay versus Rohit Raju versus Petey Williams versus Trey Miguel. So yeah, this is a good match. This is a really good match, but I did not like the ending of this match. Did not like the ending of this match. So yeah, we had Austin. He took out Miguel at the beginning of the bell, and so Raju and Bay they teamed up on Williams, and we had a dropkick senton to Bay and Raju from Williams, which was nice. And so we had an insecurity kick to Williams from Bay, and he kicked out. And then Bay and Austin they went back and forth, and we had a tope, not a tope suicida, but a tope con hero to Chris Bay and Williams and Raju from Miguel. So that was really nice. The height that he got off of that tope con hero, that was really nice. And so yeah, we had a Northern Light suplex to Austin from Miguel, and we had double submission moves. We had double submission moves to Williams. No, double submission moves from Miguel and Williams on Austin and Chris Bay. And then Miguel and Williams ended up locking the submission move on themselves while they still had their submission moves locked on, hold on Williams and Bay, on well not Williams and Bay, on Austin and Bay. And so Raju, he had broke up all the holds. He broke up all the submission holds. And so we had a cannonball to Miguel and Williams from Raju. So Raju, man, he was all over the place, dude. We had a Falcon's Arrow, a nice looking one at that. A Falcon's Arrow to Bay from Raju. And then Raju, he had dropped a Stone Cold Steve Austin elbow drop to Miguel. And we had a running knee to Miguel from Raju. And then we had a torture rack neck breaker to Raju from Chris Bay. And at that point, dude, I could not keep up, dude. I could not keep up, taking down notes. And, because everybody was all over the place. And so, yeah, we had a double diving leg drop to Bay and Raju from Austin. And we had a flatliner to Austin from Williams. And we had a Canadian Destroyer. We had a Canadian Destroyer to Ace Austin from Williams off of the top rope, dude. Off of the top rope. The same move that he hit on Madman Fulton on Impact. He did that same move to Ace Austin. And so, yeah, so he went for the cover. Miguel, he broke up the pin. So that would have been it right there. That would have been it. If Trey Miguel was not there, Petey Williams would have been the #1 contender. And so, yeah, so at one point we had Trey Miguel. He had took out Petey Williams, and then he had went to the top rope. I think he was trying to go for a high flying move. And so you saw Madman Fulton. He just rose up. He just rose up like he rose up from the grave. Like he rose up from the dead or from the grave. And he looked at Trey Miguel. He was staring down Trey Miguel, and so Trey Miguel saw this, and so Trey Miguel, he was screwed, and he knew he was screwed because he was like, "Damn!" And so Madman Fulton, he grabbed Trey Miguel and just threw him. He just knocked him off the top rope, and he hit that apron hard, dude. And so yeah, so Fulton, he had took out everybody in this match, except for Ace Austin, of course. And so yeah, so everybody tried to take out Fulton. They tried to team up against Fulton. And then Fulton at one point, he was catching everybody because everybody was going for like high flying moves. And then Fulton, he had caught all of them. And so at the same time, he held everybody up at the same time, and then he slammed them down at the same time. It was nice. I think he had like one guy, two guys in a powerbomb position. He had another guy like in a power slam position or something like that. Dude, that was nice. That was a nice spot in this match. And so yeah, so yeah, Fulton, he had put Austin on top of one of the guys or both of the guys in this match. And so the referee had called for the bell. Referee had called for the bell. And so at that point I was like, what? I was like, what? Like, dude, it's a no disqualification match. Fatal 5-way is a no disqualification. He ruled it as a no contest. How you get a no contest in a fatal 4-way or a fatal 5-way? Like, dude, that don't make no sense at all. It don't make no sense. And that's the same thing that happened with NXT. With NXT a couple of weeks back when it was Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, and Johnny Gargano competing, and then you had Adam Cole got involved in the match, causing it a no contest. Like, dude, that didn't make any sense. Like, why was this booked? What was the point of booking a match if that was gonna be the ending of the match? That ain't make no sense, dude. The match was already doing good. It was a great match, but the ending of the match, like, dude, like, what was the point of having a match if that was gonna be the end of the match? And another thing, like, dude, who is the #1 contender? Who is the #1 contender for the X Division Championship? Now that you have no contenders for the X Division title. But yeah, it ain't make no sense, dude. No sense. And so yeah, so the referee had called for the bell, no contest. Madman Fulton was mad, no pun intended. And he chased after the referee. The referee was getting out of there. He ran away from Madman Fulton and to the back, and that was it. That was it with that. Really, really disappointing. Disappointing. And so yeah, so right after that we had Morrissey versus Rich Swann, and so yeah, so Morrissey made his entrance first, and then Rich Swann made his entrance. And when Rich Swann made his entrance, dude, I don't know why he was dancing. I don't know why. Why was he dancing? Why? Like, I know his whole deal is dancing and everything, but this guy took out your best friend. This guy almost ended your best friend's career. And you want to come out dancing? You want to come out here and dance? Like, dude, if somebody almost ended my friend's career, if somebody took out my best friend or somebody that's like a brother to me, I would not be coming out here dancing. I would come out there getting ready to rip somebody's head off, dude. And that's what Rich Swann should have done. He should have came out and just walked to the ring with an angry look on his face. The same anger that he had when he attacked Morrissey during that interview, he should have brought that to this match. And he didn't. So yeah, so Morrissey he had threw Swann out of the ring at the start of the bell. And then Swann he went right at the Morrissey's leg, which is a smart move because Morrissey is a big guy. And with the big guys, you gotta go after the legs. And so yeah, so Swann he started fighting back with strikes. And then Swann he had used his speed, which is also a smart move. And then we had a senton to Morrissey off of the ring apron. And we had a big boot. We had a big boot to Swann in midair, which had to hurt, bro. It like that because he was wearing steel toe boots. He was wearing Tim's, it looked like. And he had caught him with a big boot in the midsection with those steel toe boots. And so yeah, so Morrissey he went right after Swann's back, so he was targeting the back. And so yeah, so Morrissey he took control of the match. At that point, we had a stinger splash to Swann, and we had a bulldog to Morrissey to the ring post, like right into the ring post he did. And so we had a 450 splash to Morrissey off the ring apron, and we had a second rope 450 splash to Morrissey and he kicked out. And we had a kick to Morrissey. We had a Phoenix splash to Morrissey. And then, Swann, he tried to go for the pinfall. And then Morrissey, he just grabbed him and just hit him with an F5. Hit him with an F5. And then Swann, he ended up fighting back. And then we had a big boot to Swann's spine. And then we had a power bomb. We had a series of power bombs to Swann. But, right after he hit, I think he hit like the second power bomb, like two power bombs at that point. Right after he hit that second power bomb, he did not go for the cover. And so he started, toying with Rich Swann. And so yeah, so Swann gave him the finger, gave him the middle finger. And so yeah, and we had another power bomb. We had another power bomb to Swann, a spinning power bomb to Swann to win the match. So W Morrissey wins the match. And that was it, man. Dominant win for Morrissey. And he beat a former world champion. Former world champion. So right after that, man, send him after the X Division title. That's what I'll do with him. Send him after the X Division title. Have him go through those guys that's contending for that title. And have him go against Josh Alexander. Now that should be a great match, dude. And so yeah, so that was it with that. Good match. And so yeah, so right after that we had Gia Miller. She interviews Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, who is the Impact Knockouts champion, Kimber Lee, and Susan. And so yeah, so Deonna Purrazzo, she spoke. She said that tonight is their night. And Kimberly and Susan said that they will win. They'll win the tag team titles and bring all the gold. And so yeah, so Purrazzo said that tonight, Kimberly and Susan, you need to prove yourselves that you belong on my side. And so yeah, so Purrazzo just telling them that you better win, this match. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had a one-on-one match, and it was Tenille Dashwood with Kaleb with a K in her corner versus Jordynne Grace with Racheal Ellering in her corner. And so yeah, so we had a world strongest slam to Dashwood, so shades of Mark Henry right there. And so yeah, so Grace she used her power against Dashwood, and then Kaleb and Dashwood they pulled Grace out of the ring, and then Grace she had landed right on the floor, so Kaleb got involved in the match. And so yeah, so Dashwood she took control of the match at that point. We had a tarantula to Grace on the ropes, and then Tenille Dashwood she hit her corner crossbody or a running corner crossbody or the Emma sandwich or whatever she calls it to Grace. And we had a fallaway slam to Dashwood, and we had, Grace gave a series of slams to Dashwood, and we had that running corner elbow to Dashwood, that explosive running corner elbow that Jordynne Grace goes for, and then she followed up with a Vader bomb to Dashwood, and she kicked out. And we had a diving crossbody to Grace, and she kicked out. And we had a neck breaker to Grace on the ropes, and Grace she grabbed the rope. And so we had a sleeper hold. To Dashwood can't even talk right now. And then Kaleb he he. So yeah, so Kaleb he distracted the referee, and then Ellering took out Kaleb. And so yeah, so Grace she was upset about that. you know, Racheal Ellering getting involved in the match, and she said, Grace, she had yelled at Ellering saying that, hey, like stay out of this. I got this. I can take care of myself. And so, Jordynne Grace tried to go for the Grace driver, but Tenille Dashwood had rolled up Grace for the win. So Tenille Dashwood wins the match. And yeah, that was it. And right after that, we had Jordynne Grace. She was arguing with Racheal Ellering. And so at that point, I was like, come on, heel turn. I was like, come on, heel turn. Come on. Come on, heel turn. And so yeah, and she was upset. She was really upset. If you saw the look on her face, she was upset. She was really pissed off. And so yeah, it looked like she wanted to attack Racheal Ellering, but she did not. I was hoping that she attacked Racheal Ellering, but she did not. She went into the ring and attacked Kaleb, and that was it. That was it. I was hoping for a heel turn, dude. I really was. That's what I thought it was gonna come. That's why the match was made. But I really wanted the heel turn to come. It's time for her to turn heel already, man. Turn on Racheal Ellering already. Turn on her. But yeah, that was it with that. Really, it was a good match. But yeah, I kind of knew that Tenille Dashwood was gonna win because to further that heel turn. But we still haven't gotten the heel turn. Maybe it'll happen probably on the big stage, probably at Slammiversary. But yeah, that's what I'm guessing. But the heel turn, it is coming. It has to come. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had a backstage segment from Brian Myers, the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers, and Sam Beale, his protege. And so yeah, we had Myers and Sam Beale that were watching a pay-per-view, and Sam Beale was taking his notes like as he should. And so yeah, so Myers he had asked Sam Beale what did you learn today? Like what did you learn while watching these matches and all that stuff? And Beale was giving his answers and all that. We had Jake something. He just showed up. He was walking, and he told Sam Beale not to listen what Brian Myers is teaching you. And so yeah, so Myers he had made fun of Jake something by not he made fun of him because of the fact that he wasn't booked on a show tonight. And so yeah, Jake he was upset. He got in Myers' face, and then Jake I guess he challenged Brian Myers to a match or something like that. Or yeah, and then I think he told Myers to teach Jake how to be a man and how to stand up for himself. And Myers he had told Bill to write this down, never take the bait. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that, we had the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match. So this is our first championship match of the night, and it was Kimberly and Susan versus Fire and Flava, who are the Impact Tag Team Champions, or the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions. That's Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. So yeah, we had a double team moves to Lee from Fire and Flava, and then Lee she had fainted a knee injury, and so yeah, so Susan she had took advantage of it and she illegally attacked Steelz. Susan wasn't the legal person, and so yeah, so Lee and Susan they took control of the match. They had a hot tag to Hogan. She took out Susan, and then we had a running corner drop kick to Susan from Hogan, and we had a double team move to Hogan. And we had an assisted sliced bread number 2 to Lee from Fire and Flava. And we had a superplex to Steelz from Susan. And a swanton bomb. We had a swanton bomb to Hogan from Lee. She kicked out. And then both of these teams were going back and forth. And, trying to, Fire and Flava try to keep Kimberly out of this match. And then to end the match, we had a frog splash to Susan from Tasha Steelz to win the match. So Fire and Flava wins the match and are still the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions. So yeah, this is a very competitive match, man. Very competitive match. For a heel versus heel match, this is a really good match. But who's next though? Who's next for Fire and Flava? Like, what team is gonna go after Fire and Flava? Because they don't have no tag teams. They don't have no tag teams in that women's division. No tag teams. They already went through Havoc and Nevaeh. They're no longer a team. They went through Jordynne Grace and Racheal Ellering. Who else did they fight? Jazz and Jordynne Grace. Who else? There's not many tag teams. There's not many tag teams in the men's or the women's division in Impact. And so yeah, that was it with that. Whoever the next challenges are, I don't know. But yeah, Fire and Flava wins the match. And so yeah, so right after that, we went from one tag team match, championship match, to another tag team championship match, and it was Decay, Crazy Steve, and Black Taurus versus Violent by Design, who are the Impact World Tag Team Champions. That's Rhino and Deonna, with Eric Young in their corner. Joe Doering, he had to sit out. He had to rest. After his match that he had with Kojima. And so yeah, at the start of the match, we had Steve. He had out wrestled Deonna. And so Deonna, he was getting upset, and so Eric Young, he had to talk some sense into Deonna. And so yeah, so Deonna, he kept getting beat down in the early parts of the match, and then Young again tried to gave Deonna a pep talk. He had whispered something in Deonna's ear, and so Deonna went back into the ring and he tagged in Rhino. And so Rhino and Taurus, they went back and forth, and then Violent by Design took control of the match. We had a high tag to Taurus, he took out Deonna. And then Rhino, he took out Taurus the Taurus. So they were going back and forth. And we had a diving crossbody to Deonna from Taurus. And we had a hot tag to Steve. He took out Deonna and Rhino. And we had a crossface submission move to Deonna from Steve. And so yeah, so Deonna, he was locked in this crossface. And Young was outside the ring. Eric Young, he was begging Deonna not to tap out because he was this close from tapping out. And so yeah, Deonna, he grabbed the rope. And so we had a double underhook facebuster, from the top rope on Deonna from Steve, and he kicked out of the move. And so yeah, so Deonna, he had targeted Steve's midsection, and we had a diving drop kick to Deonna from Taurus, and we had a pop-up Samoan drop to Deonna from Taurus, so that was nice. And we had a senton bomb to Deonna from Taurus. And yeah, at one point we had Taurus, he had hurt himself while he dove outside the ring. I don't know who he was going for. It looked like he was going for Eric Young, but Eric Young had moved out of the way. And we had a cannonball. We had a cannonball to Deonna from Steve. And so at that point, the referee was distracted by Eric Young. And then Rhino, he had knocked Steve off the top rope. And then Deonna had hit his spike DDT, or the Deonna DDT, to Steve from Deonna to win the match. So Violent by Design wins the match and are still the Impact World Tag Team Champions. So yeah, this is a good match, man. Good match. Now, who's next? Who's next for Violent by Design? Who? Nobody, man. Nobody is next. They don't have no tag teams. Just like the women's tag team division, the men's have no tag teams. Finjuice. Aren't they getting that rematch clause? Oh yeah, I forgot. They can't get that rematch clause. They can't. But yeah, who's next, man? Who's next for Violent by Design? Don't even know, man. Don't even know. But yeah, they need some more tag teams, man. They need some more tag teams. I guess send some AEW tag teams, man. Send some AEW tag teams that's not vying after the titles, and send them after the Impact tag team titles. That would be good. Since y'all have this partnership, man, send some tag teams down there to Impact Wrestling, because the tag team division at AEW is stacked, and Impact Wrestling, they could use some tag teams, bro. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had a backstage vignette or something like that, or a vignette of Macklin, or Steve Macklin, the former Steve Cutler. He had spoke, and he was talking about time and time being on his side, and he said that it's time to meet Mr. Mayhem, and so that's what he called himself, Mr. Mayhem. Don't Wardlow call himself Mr. Mayhem? Or I don't know. I think he does, something with Mayhem in it. But yeah, so Steve Macklin calling himself Mr. Mayhem. So yeah, so right after that we had another championship match, and it was for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship. And it was Rosemary versus the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, who is the Impact Knockouts champion. And so yeah, so both of these ladies, they were going back and forth. We had a sling blade to Purrazzo. We had an exploder suplex to Purrazzo on the stage ramp. And then Purrazzo, she, wrapped Rosemary's arm into the ring post, and then she pump kicked Rosemary's arm. So the arm was the focus of the match. And so Purrazzo, she went right after Rosemary's arm. And so both of these ladies, they took each other out with clotheslines. And so we had an exploder suplex to Purrazzo. And we had the Russian leg sweep turned into a Venus de Malo submission. I think that's what she called it, the Venus de Malo. And so yeah, she locked in the Venus de Malo on Rosemary, but Rosemary got her foot on the rope. And so yeah, so because Rosemary got her foot on the rope, Purrazzo she attacked Rosemary's leg. And so yeah, she had went right after the injured leg, so she took off the knee brace, and referee, you know, Deonna Purrazzo had the knee brace in her hand, and so the referee told her not to use it because it looked like she was getting ready to use it. And so the referee told her to put the brace down, or I will disqualify you. Like she cares. If she get disqualified, she'll still be the champion. But yeah, so Deonna Purrazzo, she just threw the knee brace to the side, saying that, I don't need this. I don't need this knee brace to win. And so yeah, so we had Deonna Purrazzo, she had a pump kick to Rosemary, but Rosemary, she had rose back up. And so Rosemary, she had hit a spear on Purrazzo, and Purrazzo had kicked out at the last second, dude. That was close. That was really close. At that point, I thought that was it, because the referee's hand was this close. It was this close from hitting three. Like his hand was this close from hitting the mat. And so yeah, so to end the match, we had Purrazzo. She had the power driver to Rosemary to win the match. So Deonna Purrazzo wins the match, and is still the Impact Knockouts champion. So this was a really good match, man. And yes, man, Deonna Purrazzo, man, nobody is beating her. Nobody is beating her. Nobody. Now, now they did. I think it was Josh Matthews. I think it was Josh Matthews on commentary. He had mentioned Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and how Deonna Purrazzo and Britt Baker are friends, and how they went back and forth on Twitter about who's talking about them more. Could we see Deonna Purrazzo showing up on AEW and go up against Britt Baker, champion versus champion? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it was funny that he mentioned Dr. Britt Baker. Now we could be seeing a match. We could be seeing a match between those two. But when we do, yeah, it'll be a great match, really great match. But yeah, as far as the match and Rosemary, Rosemary, she never should have beaten Deonna Purrazzo to get a championship match. And in that nothing tag team match, that 10-way tag team match, never should have beaten her. But yeah, the right person did win. The right person did win. Deonna Purrazzo won this match. And who's next for her? Who's next for Deonna Purrazzo? Nobody, bro. Britt Baker could probably be next. I don't know how they're gonna play that off. But whoever is next, they will lose. They will lose to Deonna Purrazzo. And so yeah, that was it with that, with the women's match. And so yeah, so right after that, we had the main event, the match that I was looking forward to, the match that was probably the best match on the show, and it was for the Impact World Championship match, for the Impact World Championship, and it was at Daly's Place, AEW's home turf. And so yeah, so we had Tony Schiavone or Tony Schiavone, Scott D'Amore, and Don Callis on commentary. So no Jim Ross, no Excalibur. And so yeah, so it was Moose, the wrestling god Moose, versus the Best Bout Machine, Kenny by God Omega, who is the AEW World Champion, the AAA Mega Heavyweight Champion, and the Impact World Champion, with Don Callis in his corner, who was on commentary. And so yeah, so with this, Moose, I love seeing Moose entrance on in Daly's Place. It was really nice. Now we did not have a crowd. We didn't have a crowd, but we did have the AEW talent play as the crowd, and I wanted to see the crowd. I really did. I really wanted to see real people, but I see why they didn't have the real crowd, because the match was taped. The match was already taped, from what I heard weeks ago. Before Against All Odds, it was already taped. And then, you know, if you would have had people there, people would have taken pictures of it. People would have took a video of it and posted it online. So you probably would have gotten spoilers on that. And yeah, so yeah, Moosey came out to the ring with his robe. He had like a tape. He had like a tape on his shoulder. And so yeah, so Omega. So yeah, to start off the match, we had Omega. He tried to play mind games with Moose, and then Moose, he had threw Omega across the ring. And then Kenny, man, this was nasty right here. This was really nasty. Yeah, Kenny he went for a tope, not a tope suicida, but a hurricanrana. He had a hurricanrana on Moose, and so he hit the move on Moose. But when Kenny Omega got back up from the hurricanrana, or when he went to go hit the hurricanrana, his head had hit the mat. So that was nasty. Your head is not supposed to hit the mat. It's not supposed to hit the mat when you hit in the hurricanrana. And so yeah, this is also a nasty spot. Yeah, Kenny Omega he went for a tope con hero to Moose, and Kenny Omega his head almost hit the floor. It almost hit the floor. It looked like he undershot it, and yeah, he undershot it, and it looked like he didn't get enough height at it either. He didn't like what he usually do. Like when you usually go for the tope suicida, he has that height, but he did not have any height. And so Omega he chops Moose, and Moose he had no sold it, and so Omega he went for his you can't escape on Moose, and so Omega he tried to go for the moonsault, but he missed, and then Moose had hit a moonsault of his own, a standing moonsault, and so Moose. So at this point they were fighting outside the ring. Moose had threw Omega into the guardrail. And so Moose, I think he tried to spear or go for a crossbody to Omega on the guardrail, but Omega had moved out of the way. Omega had moved out of the way, and Moose he flew over the top of the barricade into the crowd on those chairs, stacks of chairs. So that was a nasty spot. So he crashed and burned. And so Omega he targeted Moose's arm because he had hurt his arm off of that spot. And so Omega he had locked in a triangle hold to Moose, and then Moose to escape it, he powerbombed Omega, and we had a running corner drop kick to Omega, and then Moose had hit one of his signature moves to go to hell, so he had to go to hell to Omega, and Omega had kicked out, and then Omega hit the Snapdragon suplex to Moose, which is impressive. To hit a Snapdragon suplex on a big guy like Moose was very impressive. And so yeah, Omega he had two V triggers. He had two V triggers on Moose, and he kicked out. And so at that point, both of these guys they were going back and forth for strikes. And we had a clothesline to Moose that absolutely leveled him. And so, yeah, in this spot, yeah, this was a sloppy spot right here. It looked like Omega was going for a Tiger Driver 98, and but Moose he didn't land on his head. He landed on his shoulder. Like he went off to the side and he landed on his shoulder. And so yeah, so Omega he hit the V trigger on Moose in the shoulder. And then we had the Moose, not Moose. We had Kenny Omega. He tried to go for the one wing angel, but Moose he had fought out of it, and he had hit a discus clothesline to Omega, which was nice. I love the discus clothesline. And so yeah, so Moose his arm was acting up at that point, and so you had Doctor Sampson. Yeah, Doctor Sampson. He had came into the ring. He went to go check on Moose. Him and the referee Brian Hebner, who was the referee of this match, who was an Impact Wrestling referee. So they went to go check on Moose, and so Moose had told Dr. Sampson to get out of my ring, like get out of the ring. And so yeah, we had a V trigger to Moose, and yeah, we had a Spanish fly. We had a Spanish fly to Omega off the top rope, so that was a nice spot too. And Omega kicked out of the Spanish fly, and so Moose it looked like he was going for the spear, but Omega had pulled the referee into the way of the spear, so the referee got speared by Moose. And so yeah, so Moose he tried to get the referee up. He tried to wake the referee up. And so yeah, so the Young Bucks got involved. So the Young Bucks interfered in the match and super kicks Moose. And at that point I was like, I knew it. I knew it. When I made my prediction in that Impact Wrestling review, I was like, watch, the Bucks, they're gonna get involved in this match. Since the Good Brothers are not gonna get involved in the match, you have the Young Bucks who are also a part of the elite. The elite. They got involved in the match. So yeah, so they super kicked Moose and they gave Moose a BTE trigger. The same move that took out Phoenix and John Moxley. And so yeah, so the Bucks they had picked up Moose since Moose is a big freaking guy, and they set him up for the one wing angel. So Omega hit the one wing angel to Moose, so that's a huge one wing angel at that. So he hit the one wing angel on Moose to win the match. So Kenny by God Omega wins the match and is still the Impact World Champion. And so yeah, this is a really great match, man. The best match on the show. And so yeah, so after the match, we had the Bucks. They were dancing. They were dancing. They were celebrating with Kenny Omega. And so the lights had cut off, and the lights had cut back on. You saw Sami Callihan, who was banned from Daly's place. And so yeah, so Sami Callihan he attacked the Bucks and Kenny Omega with the bat, his baseball bat. And so Callis, who was on commentary, he was not happy. So he got off of commentary. He was yelling at Sami Callihan, telling him to look at me when I'm talking to you and all that stuff. He told Sami Callihan to get out of here, like get out of this arena. And so yeah, so Callihan he went under the ring. He went under the ring and grabbed a chair, and he had his baseball bat still in his hand. And so he put the chair over Omega's face. And so yeah, so he was about to hit Omega with the chair. Not with the chair. He was about to hit Omega with the bat. And so yeah, so Callis he had fired Sami Callihan from Impact Wrestling. So Callis he said, "You're fired. You're fired from Impact Wrestling, and I can do whatever I want since I'm the executive vice president." And so Scott D'Amore he was mad. He was angry. He was on commentary too, so he was angry. He was angry at Don Callis for making that decision without his approval. And so he was arguing with Don Callis to the back. And so Sami he was also upset. He was also upset. And so yeah, so Sami was upset that he was fired from Impact Wrestling. And that was it, man. That was it. And so yeah, that was it with the match. That was the end of the show, bro. That was the end of the show. Really good show. Great main event. The match that I was looking forward to. Now this match it would have been impactful. It would have been more impactful, no pun intended, if it was in front of a crowd. If it was in front of actual people instead of the roster. And so yeah, but yeah, it just would have came off better, bro. It would have came off better. The reactions in the match, like the reaction in the match from the crowd would have been better, bro. Would have been better. And yeah, so Sami Callihan got fired. He got fired and he lost his number one contender spot at Slammiversary because the winner of this match would have went up against Sami Callihan at Slammiversary. So yeah, whoever would have won this match, they would have went up against Sami Callihan at Slammiversary. And Sami Callihan, he's fired. He's not no more contendership for him. No more contenders for him. So yeah, so what will happen with Sami Callihan? What would happen with Sami Callihan? Will he show up in AEW? I don't know. Maybe. But per storyline they said that Tony Khan banned Sami Callihan from AEW or Daily's Place. But yeah, I could see him in AEW. And Moose, what's next for Moose, bro? What is next for Moose? Because Moose was actually screwed over. He got screwed over in that match by the Bucks. And he was this close. He was this close from winning. So where is Moose gonna go from here? Where is Moose gonna come in from here? Will he invade AEW? I would love to see Moose in AEW, man. Can you imagine Moose in AEW? This was just a preview of seeing him in Daily's Place. Just imagine him on a roster in AEW, bro. The matches that he can have in AEW, man. Now I know his contract is supposed to expire. It's supposed to expire. I think this month, either this month or next month. I think it was supposed to expire. But yeah, I see Moose going to AEW, man. I don't see him going nowhere else but AEW. And so yeah, but yeah, we have a lot of questions, man. We have a lot of questions out of this main event. Like what's gonna happen with Sami Callihan and Moose and the Slammiversary, main event for the Impact World Championship and all that stuff. We had a lot of questions, bro. A lot of questions. But yeah, man, that was it with the show. Really good show, man. Great main event. Moose and Sami Callihan. Not Moose and Sami Callihan. Moose and Kenny Omega. Best match on the show. Everything else was good. But the only match I was looking forward to was this match. Moose versus Kenny Omega at Daily's Place. So that was the seller, Daily's Place. But yeah, that was it, man. And if you like this video, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell to be the first ones to know my next video will come out because I am here each and every single week. So yeah, man. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys on Sunday. I'll see you guys tomorrow for NXT Takeover in Your House, which is on Sunday. And yeah, man. And if you missed the final stop before Impact, I can't even talk, man. I'm so sleepy. If you missed the Impact Wrestling review before Against All Odds, the video is gonna be right up here. And the link to that video will be down below in the description. So make sure you click this video click up here or click down below in the link down below. If you missed anything, follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. Subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, comment down below, tell me how you felt about Against All Odds. And yeah, man, see you guys on Sunday. See you guys on Sunday for NXT Takeover in your house. And yeah, man, once again, guys, thank you for the support, man. Thank you for all the love and support for the show. Thank you, thank you, and thank you, man. And yeah, man, I'm about to go to sleep. I'm so tired, man. And yeah, man, and this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and that's that.